Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we are taking a look once again at some incredibly high quality leather holsters from Falco. Before we get this video started, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to this video's sponsor, which is once again Seal One. Seal One is the longest supporting company of Firearm Freedom, and I love those guys. I have been using their cleaning and maintenance supplies forever, long before the sponsorship, and it is truly such a genuine partnership. I absolutely love it. But Seal One makes a huge variety of firearms and really just any cleaning and maintenance supplies in general. They have stuff for bows. Most of Seal One's products are actually also bio-based and non-toxic. They smell great, has like a minty bubblegum type smell, and your guns smell great after using them. They're actually giving you 25% off. Once again, 25% off. All you got to do at the discount code section is do FF-25. That's FF-25 at checkout, and that gets you 25% off of your order. I greatly appreciate their support. Another incredible set from Falco. Falco makes a lot of different leather variations of holsters. I mean, we're talking just pages and pages and pages, from cross draw, shoulder holsters, small back, appendix, strong side, whatever. And they actually just came out with a new and improved version of their standard lineup. And I really didn't see in the photos too much that was different, other than, you know, an extra padding of leather here in the front. But once I got them out of the box and checked the fitment, whew, I've been quite impressed with it. Now, of course, full disclosure, what's my relationship with Falco? They didn't pay me or anything like that for this review. They did send me these holsters to check out for free to keep. They just want to hear an honest and unbiased opinion, and I really appreciate that. As always, I will put out any pros and cons that I see. I actually borrowed my good buddy's incredible Smith Combat Magnum for this holster that I got from Falco, and this is a strong side holster, very unique design, because as you can see here, we got a total cutout in the front and then a lot of extra movement on this belt loop that we'll talk about in a minute. But I don't have any full-size wheel guns, but I wanted to see what their wheel gun holster would be like, and man, I gotta say, I gotta pick up one of these things quite soon. Now, this has had some modifications done to it, but it is one of the best shooting full-frame revolvers I've ever shot. Truly, it's absolutely incredible. But we can talk about this holster first. What you got going on here is very interesting. So when we first saw this out of box, me and my buddy are like, man, that is gonna fly out. There's no way that's gonna stay into place. He has actually taken it on a few different hikes, walking around all day, carrying it as a daily rider, and this thing has amazingly stayed completely in place. And as you can see there, so let me try. I am pulling as hard as I can forward, and it will not come out. And of course, it flies right out the top. Now, of course, you're not going to have as good of retention on that, but as you can see, it's still there. Like, I'm not squeezing the part of the holster, and it will come out if you shake it. I would imagine if you took a tumble, this might go flying, but I've got to say, the way that this draws is absolutely incredible. So my buddy was rocking this revolver in a Galco style holster in the past, and what he was having an issue with that holster is, in order to draw the gun, you really had to present it in this very awkward position, and it would almost always get hung up. And that is what Falco essentially completely got rid of with this style of holster. Now, what he also noticed with the large gap in this area is it provides movement where the holster should move, and it is still giving you a very rigid outside the waistband setup, but when you're sitting or moving, running, whatever, it is going to move and allow you to have a very comfortable leather holster. I noticed immediately out of box the fitment of both holsters. You guys know that in the past I've griped a little bit about Falco's trigger coverage, right? So they have had maybe some issues where your trigger was visible. Is it a problem on certain guns? No, it really depends on the setup. But as you can see here, we have full coverage of the trigger, absolutely nothing showing on either side. You actually have even more coverage on the back side of this. And you do have a high sweat guard and a double-walled leather piece there. So full coverage on that one. And then for my inside the waistband holster that I'm trying from them for my TRP, you can see again, full and complete coverage of the trigger, which is excellent. That is exactly what I wanted to see from Falco on these, so that's really cool that they decided to ramp up the coverage just a little bit. And as you can see here, I have absolutely full purchase on the pistol still. So that did not come up too high, causing this to not allow me to get a easy purchase on the gun. Man, they continuously surprise me. So you guys know, I think in the first video I did of Falco, I said, you know, I don't know that I would ever carry a leather holster up in the Appendix. Now, I still kind of feel like that with a striker-fired pistol. I just don't really like the fact that, you know, you have the ability years in the future, whatever, for this to fold in and cause an issue, and you're pointing the gun right at yourself. With a 1911 with multiple levels of safety going on here, and what I mean by that is just the trigger cannot be pulled accidentally by a holster flap, and manual safeties and other things, I am more apt to be willing to carry this Appendix in a leather holster. But I gotta say, I mean, can I squish it together? Yes, but as far as like bending the leather, you can kind of get it, but the amount that I have to put into that to bend it in is wild. And you can see that just by the thickness of this leather, it's incredibly rigid. They have double walled it here on all sides of the top of the holster. And I have actually been carrying this Appendix right in the 12 o'clock position, and it has been working really, really well. You see we got a little claw on the side, and this is very nice, and then one singular metal clip. And just listen to the fitment of this leather, right? Oh, it doesn't do it justice, but I gotta say, like, the fitment is unbelievable. It feels like Kydex. You know, I'm trying to, sometimes in these reviews, I try to not be like overly positive because I don't ever want it to come off like I'm being, you know, not genuine, but it's very difficult with these holsters to not come off as like, oh, I love these, because they feel very, very good. The quality level is incredible, and I just, they continuously impress me. But I have noticed there that this Appendix holster took a little bit of time for me to kind of like wear in. I had a pretty severe hot spot with this sweat guard. So I think I probably a little bit of a less of a hot spot if you had this like slightly lower underneath the safety, but then again, you might get a hot spot from the safety. But I was noticing the first like week of carrying this, that right here, right on that little nub, I was getting a ton of issues with the hot spot. And then the second week of carrying it, all of that kind of went away. And I think that's because it began to just gradually kind of rotate in with my body, get a little bit more pliable, especially as everything gets hot here in Pennsylvania in the summer right now. So, you know, it did break in. And then I also noticed that the section where the claw is, as you can see now, has kind of conformed to my body a little bit. Now, they did send a like break-in leather kit. I didn't even feel that I had to use that. These felt just like they just melted into place. But all of these holsters, all of Falco's holsters, are actually like wet molded and completed with the gun upon order. They are custom making this, and you can tell. I love that about Falco because I have two kind of oddball firearms to make holsters for, and I got a holster for each of them in multiple different styles. I could have chosen this revolver and this Appendix holster if I wanted to. I could have chosen this TRP and this outside the waistband holster. Pretty much anything you got, they can make a holster for, which again, I dig that quite a bit. Now, drawing and presenting from this was, again, very, very fast. I did not feel that I had to kind of fish for the holster with my pistol to try to figure out where it was. I felt like it was very easy to reinsert my pistol. And the one benefit of having this incredibly high sweat guard is I did not have any shirt material falling into the holster when I was drawing either. So when I went to reholster the pistol, my shirt was still in the proper position where it needed to be, and if I had an undershirt on, that was in the proper position. It was not falling into the holster in any capacity. So that is pretty cool, and I like that quite a bit. It's surprisingly comfortable to carry a full-size 1911 in a leather holster Appendix carry. I didn't have any issues with it whatsoever, and what I've been doing is carrying my spare mags still on the same position in an outside the waistband belt loop spot on my left-hand side. But I would love to take a look at some of the Falco mag holsters here soon, because I think they have some pretty good options for carrying extra magazines that, again, I would love to take a look at in the very near future. But guys, that is pretty much all I have to say in this first impressions video. I think they're absolutely worth the money, and I cannot recommend them enough. The original Falco holsters that I had were excellent, but these new and improved ones, I think they've taken it up a notch. I really tried to find any negatives that I possibly could, and I really can't. I mean, you know, leather is a specific type of holster, so you have to understand what you're getting into. This is not Kydex, so if you feel more comfortable with Kydex and a striker-fired pistol, I get it. But when it comes to hammer-fired guns, I really do feel that leather is the way. That is my personal opinion. Others may differ. Guys, if you have any other questions about these holsters or anything else on the channel, please feel free to throw them down below in the comments section, and I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description for the ways to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.